In the city of Hangzhou, where willow branches bow to kiss the shimmering waters of the West Lake, there stood an old stone bridge. Its arch rose gracefully, and its surface, worn smooth by countless footsteps, bore the stories of generations. The people called it the Weeping Bridge, though no one agreed on why. Some said it was because the willows draped around it looked as though they were always crying. Others whispered of a woman who once stood there night after night, her tears mingling with the river's flow. This is her story. Mylin was the daughter of a humble calligrapher. She carried beauty not only in her face, but in her spirit, gentle, quiet, and full of kindness. Every morning, she crossed the bridge with scrolls tucked neatly into a bamboo basket, delivering her father's work to scholars and patrons. One misty spring morning, as cherry blossoms drifted through the air, Mylin saw a young man leaning against the stone railing of the bridge. His robes were plain, patched at the elbows, but he held a book in his hands with reverence, as though it were a treasure. A sudden breeze lifted the pages, tearing one free. The parchment fluttered and tumbled toward the water. Without thinking, Mylin darted forward, catching it just before it fell into the river. The young man gasped, then smiled. "You've saved the words of Confucius himself. I am forever indebted to you." Mylin returned the page with a shy bow. "Perhaps I've saved not only his words, but your future, sir." Their eyes met, and though neither spoke of it, something gentle began to stir between them. The young man introduced himself as Jian, a scholar who had come to Hangzhou to prepare for the imperial examinations. From that morning onward, fate seemed to guide their steps, for they met again and again at the bridge. They would walk together beneath the willows, their voices low, sharing secrets as though they had known each other all their lives. Jian read her poems, his voice trembling with emotion, while Mylin painted lotus blossoms and explained their meaning: purity, resilience, undying devotion. Slowly, the bridge became more than stone and mortar. It became a place of promise, the blossoming love. One evening, the moon cast silver ripples across the water, and fireflies lit the air. Jian placed a hand upon the railing, his face earnest. "Mylin," he said softly, "you are the first person who has truly listened to me, not as a poor scholar, but as Jian. When I am named a scholar, I will return here. Beneath these willows, I will ask for your hand. Will you wait for me?" Mylin's eyes shone with tears. "I will wait as long as the river flows." They sealed the vow with a shared silence, broken only by the sound of the night wind. Seasons of waiting. When Jian left for the capital, Mylin's days grew long. She crossed the bridge every morning as before, but now her steps were slower, her gaze always searching the horizon. The first year passed, and with each season, she returned to the bridge. In spring, blossoms fell around her like confetti, yet her heart remained empty. In summer, cicadas sang, and the stones of the bridge burned hot beneath her feet. Still she waited. In autumn, golden leaves spun into the river, carrying whispers of time slipping away. In winter, snow blanketed the arch, and her breath rose in clouds as she stood alone, trembling from both cold and longing. Villagers pitied her, some mocking softly, "The scholar has forgotten. He now sits in silk, while she waits like a fool." But Mylin shook her head. He promised Jian's return. One fateful spring night, the city erupted with joy. Lanterns blazed, drums thundered, and the streets filled with red silk. Jian had returned, crowned with honor, his brilliance recognized by the emperor himself. But he was not alone. By his side walked the daughter of a powerful minister, his new bride. Their wedding procession glittered with gold, their smiles radiant. Jian's eyes swept briefly toward the bridge, where Milin stood trembling, but he quickly turned away, shame shadowing his face. Milin clutched the railing until her knuckles turned white. Her voice broke in a whisper that only the wind carried. "You swore beneath the willows. You swore to return for me." Tears blurred her vision. With a final step, she let herself fall into the dark river below. The curse and the blessing. That night, the villagers swore they heard weeping echo from the bridge, louder than the drums of the wedding feast. From then on, whenever it rained, water streamed from the cracks of the bridge, as though it were crying. Travelers claimed to see Milin's figure dressed in white, holding a bamboo basket waiting eternally, gazing at the water. But the story did not end in sorrow alone. Lovers began to believe that Milin's spirit, though broken by betrayal, still longed for love's fulfillment. Couples who crossed the bridge hand in hand, whispering their vows beneath the willows, were said to be blessed with loyalty and devotion, guarded by Milin's watchful spirit. Thus, the Weeping Bridge became both a place of mourning and a place of hope, a reminder that promises broken can birth legends, and that even sorrow may bless others. The Young Warrior. Our story begins with Wei Shen, the orphan son of a blacksmith. From a young age, he dreamed not of wealth but of honor. His father had died in a border war, leaving him only a broken sword and the words, "Greater than strength is nothing without heart. A blade is nothing without honor." At 18, Wei Shen was known for his skill with the sword, but also for his restless spirit. When the elders spoke of the Dragon Gate, he felt fire in his chest. To pass the trial, he believed, was to rise above his mortal self. One winter dawn, Wei Shen set out alone, carrying his father's broken sword. The journey was perilous, through forests where wolves' howls pierced the night, across barren plains where wind cut like knives, over mountains where avalanche thundered like drums of war. At night he dreamed of a dragon coiling through the stars, its golden eyes burning into his soul. After many weeks, his feet bleeding, his clothes torn, Wei Shen reached the gorge. Before him roared the waterfall, fierce as if the heavens themselves had split. The guardian of the gate. As he approached, a shadow moved. An old man in tattered robes, his eyes clouded with age, leaned on a staff. "You seek the Dragon Gate," the old man rasped. "Do you even know the price?" Wei Shen bowed respectfully. "If my courage fails, then I am unworthy, but if my heart is true, I will leap." The old man chuckled. "Courage, heart. Many have said the same. Their bones now rest beneath these waters." With a sweep of his staff, the old man struck the ground. The river surged, and from the depths rose 3 spirits, each shaped from water and mist, the trials. The old man spoke. "To pass the Dragon Gate, you must overcome 3 trials: fear, desire, and death." The first spirit towered before him, a monstrous beast with glowing eyes and jagged fangs. Its roar shook the gorge, and shadows wrapped around Wei Shen like chains. He dropped to his knees, trembling. The spirit hissed, "Turn back, boy. You are nothing. You will drown like the rest." Wei Shen closed his eyes. He remembered his father's words. With trembling hands, he gripped his broken sword. "My fear is my enemy," he whispered. Then, with a cry, he leapt forward, slashing through the beast's form. It dissolved into mist. The second spirit appeared as a beautiful woman dressed in silk, her hair flowing like rivers of gold. She smiled and whispered, "Why fight? Stay with me. I will give you wealth, love, everything you crave. You need not climb, you need not bleed." For a moment, Wei Shen's heart ached. He imagined a life of ease, a family, warmth by the fire. But then he saw the reflection of his father's sword in her eyes, corrupted, rusted, broken. He turned away. "I desire nothing that costs me my honor." The spirit vanished into the spray of the waterfall. The third spirit rose, a skeleton wreathed in fire, carrying a scythe. Its voice was thunder.
"All men fall, all men die. Leap, and you leap into my arms."
Wei Shen raised his broken sword. His voice shook, but it carried. "Then I will face you. If I must die, let it be with honor." The spirit roared and struck, but the sword glowed with sudden light. As steel met flame, the skeleton shattered, and the gorge fell silent. Exhausted, Wei Shen staggered to the edge of the falls. The old man watched, silent. The river raged, daring him to try. Wei Shen took a deep breath, whispered his father's words once more, and leapt into the torrent. For a moment, there was only darkness and thunder. Then the waters seemed to part, and light burst forth. Above the gorge, villagers later swore they saw a dragon rise, its scales gleaming gold, its roar echoing across the heavens. But when they searched, they found only the broken sword, gleaming brighter than the sun, resting on the rocks. The legend lives on. Some say Wei Shen became a dragon that day, guarding the skies. Others say he was reborn, wandering as a sage with wisdom beyond men. But every spring, when the river floods and the fish leap desperately at the falls, villagers look to the sky. And sometimes, just sometimes, they swear they see a golden dragon circling above the dragon gate, waiting for another brave soul.